Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
And I'm Joe Corroney.
Our special guest tonight, Joe Corroney, talented artist and talented podcaster.
Oh, thanks.
He is back to talk about Star Wars, of course, and of course, we got the big surprise of the Starfighter official picture. But before that, we are going to thank some people here. Our top tier Patreon members, starting with Liam McCallion, Kevin Leininger, Devin McCaffrey, Zach Netzel, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Front Row King, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Tia Arnold, Rest Jedi 27, Alex Blundell, and Indiana Solo. Thank you so much for your awesome love and support. Also, we want to shout out legionsabers.com. If you are looking to buy a new lightsaber or two with accessories, check out legionsabers.com and use the code STUFF at checkout for 15% off. So, Joe.
Hey, David.
Star Wars Starfighter.
Yeah.
They did it to us again. They surprised us with this brand new picture just randomly. Sean Levy, the director, posted it, and it caught on like wildfire, of course. It's not a lot, but I mean, it does show Ryan Gosling, and it does show the other actor, Flynn Gray, who we got on the other official picture that was black and white. There it is right there. What were your initial thoughts? So I want to know exactly what you thought. What came to your mind when you saw this picture? And I want to know if it matches what I thought.
I mean, right away, I'm noticing the costume, but even like bigger than that, I'm noticing the environment where they're at. I mean, of course, like my Star Wars geek brain hones in on the costume that Gosling's wearing, so I'm like looking at the gloves and the belt and stuff, but really it's the environment. It's like, wow, okay, like is this possibly like a water world,
That's exactly it.
I mean, it has
thought
like
of Kevin Costner's Water World.
Yeah, it does have a Kevin Costner water world vibe to it, just because all we're getting is the ocean there and some kind of vehicle that they're on floating, and then I mean we've had water worlds before, like Camino in episode 2, but or maybe this is just a different planet and then they're just on the water, so it doesn't have to be that kind of planet. But that's what stood out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. A water world immediately jumped to my mind. I mean, you have like the handlebars. I remember Kevin Costner doing like the hand bike thing for his boat or whatever.
And
I actually loved that movie when I was a kid. It was a movie that was like so over budget. It was the most expensive movie at the time, and I loved how they had the Universal logo show up, and then they zoomed in and all the continents started slowly disappearing with the polar ice caps melting. It was so awesome. I thought that was so creative back then, back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's an underrated film for sure.
Yes,
I do like it.
Yes, for sure. If you're wondering about it, if we piqued your interest, go check it out. I think anyone that's listening to this podcast is going to like it. But yes, the environment, of course, all water, really kind of diametrically opposed to the sands of Tatooine that we usually get and the sands of Jakku.
Right.
So I like that. The other things you notice, of course, what they're wearing. Ryan, I mean, it's just a picture, but he kind of gives off like a little bit of like the Han Solo vibe, the scoundrel vibe, a little bit there. They both got gloves on, and they're out in the middle of seemingly nowhere in whatever ocean on whatever planet. Could be Naboo, Camino. You just talked about that. But the interesting thing, if there is synergy, this might actually be Naboo, because Naboo was on location. It was shot in the Mediterranean, specifically Italy, where where they use Lake Como in Attack of the Clones, and they are in the Mediterranean Sea. That was essentially said on Sean Levy's post when he posted this picture. So we know that information. But of course, I mean, it could be kind of a stretch. I mean, we're just speculating as of right now. But I like the fact that we just got a picture out of nowhere. Right. And a lot of people... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean, I think, it's not only are we desperate for new Star Wars content currently,
Yeah.
especially coming off the high of that was Andor season
Yeah.
2, and we're just like, all right, give us more. We want more Star Wars. Um, it's good that they're going to trickle out. I mean, I think they should continue to do this, like, pretty frequently. Just give us little teases of the production, to keep the conversation going. And I mean, kind of like what Marvel's doing too, what they've done in the past. So I think it doesn't have to be all super secretive. Like, give us some production photos and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And a lot of people were harkening back to the late 90s when they were doing the 1 photo per week hyperspace
Yeah,
subscription that
yeah,
you had to do. And it was every Tuesday. I always look forward because I was going to high school at the time, and I
yeah.
would like get to my class, my first class, jump on the T1 line and like just
Oh
look
yeah.
out for on StarWars.com and go to the log into hyperspace and
I've
see
watched that
what George
webcam
had.
too during Revenge of the Sith. They would have the webcam that would run like 24 hours during
Yes.
and so I'd be up at late at night working on Star Wars art for different, Lucasfilm projects. And so I would have that on my desktop screen. I'd see like Dave Elsey and his wife Lou working on the Wookiee costumes, in the creature department. And I just remember like, wow, this is so awesome. I'm like getting to watch the making of the movie. Like it was just on constant, feedback through the webcams there.
Yeah, I remember that. You actually kind of jogged that memory back in because I hadn't thought about that in so long.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I do remember the webcam, and I remember when they would move it, everything would get blurry, and it was like,
Yeah.
somebody tapped it on the side or something.
Mhm.
And you're just like hoping like you could see something. And I think a couple times people that were up, they did do screenshots and they put something up of Hayden or Ewan, and it
Mhm.
was like, oh my gosh, we actually got something. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was,
'Cause they were filming in Australia, so
yes,
it would be like, you know, 1 in the morning here, but it would be like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. over there. And yeah, so I'd be up late and they would just be starting, for the day, and you get to see like, yeah, I'd spot like Anthony Daniels walk by and, just stuff like that, where it was just like, oh, this is cool. And I love how StarWars.com back in the day was more, yeah, they were just much more
transparent.
transparent, and I think the web team knew how to engage with the fans,
Hmm.
and keep a conversation going, like in that way. I don't know if the official site is more like, it's not as, I don't want to say it's not as fan friendly, but they're just not as open, because there's much more secrecy, I think, going on. I mean, back then, I guess it was easier because there were leaks, but it wasn't like now.
Wildfire like it is now.
Yeah, like back then, you get some stuff that leaked and spy reports, but now everything is just so top secret. They don't really let a lot out unless it's really controlled.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. But more pictures actually dropped online, and I was showing them to you earlier, and I got
Oh
some of
yeah,
them
yeah.
here. And you can see here Ryan is wearing a different color hat than he had at Japan Celebration. Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, it's the
I believe.
same logo or the same phrase. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, so he's there getting ready, and here's another shot of them working on his hair. Um, Another shot of him. You can see the pants a little bit
Yeah,
better.
it's got like a Vader texture to the paint,
Yeah, like the
which
patented
is
leather
interesting.
type style.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's on whatever like boat or skiff or whatever. You can see those like same handlebars he was
Mhm.
leaning on, and then right below him you can see Flynn Gray, the new actor. And there are some rumors floating around like what their relationship is, and then there was all this speculation. It's like, okay, someone's got to be force sensitive here. If it's not Ryan, if it's like kind of like a Poe Dameron situation where he's just a great pilot, or there has to be some type of force connection there. And then who's the kid? Obviously, the kid and Ryan have some type of bond or connection, or they're going to be in the film a lot together, or the kid is like really important. But then it's like, okay, we've seen a lot of stuff in Star Wars now where the kid is like being protected by the older character.
Right.
So I don't know if that's going to be a little bit too retread. I don't think it will be. I think they'll be fine. But I think a lot of people are saying that Ryan, his character, is maybe something like an uncle to Flynn's character, and then Flynn might be the one that's like Force sensitive. That to me makes the most sense. But I mean, nobody knows. That's the beauty of this movie. Nobody knows anything. It's all speculation right now.
It's so early.
Yeah. And yeah, here's a couple more pictures, a little bit more close. And yeah, I mean, they're just straight up in the Mediterranean Sea there.
So that's where the same location that you mentioned that for
Naboo it has to be. I mean, it's too similar. I mean, that shot right there, he's leaning on what looks like to be the controls for the boat or skiff or whatever they're on. So yeah, there's some behind the scenes now. But yeah, nobody knows what this is all about. And of course, is it Naboo? They filmed it in the Mediterranean. Is it Camino?
Well, we know it takes place how many years after Rise of Skywalker?
They're saying 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's something we do know.
Yeah, which is interesting. That gives and we heard, I think, a similar timeline for the Rey movie or the Rey trilogy, however they're going to do it. The Rey movie was supposed to take place about that same time, like 5 to 10 years out from Rise of Skywalker, I thought. So that'll be interesting if we get some kind of crossover, or some kind of guest appearances from some sequel trilogy characters in this movie. Like, I know Oscar Isaac had mentioned, I think he was interviewed recently about Starfighter, and he was like down for making. He's like, yeah, I want to be in it with Ryan. So I was like, oh, they should throw in a Poe Dameron cameo in there.
Yeah, we actually talked about that last podcast. He was at TIFF. Here's the picture right here on the red carpet at TIFF. And yeah, he was asked, just kind of like a throwaway question almost as he was leaving, would you come back to Star Wars? And he said, yeah, definitely, maybe. Let me know. I'll be there. And I mean, there's an article that said he kind of like said that tongue in cheek a little bit, but we all know years ago he was asked about Star Wars, and he was like, if I need another house, I'll sign up. But it seems like the sequel trilogy actors are kind of warming up to the idea of coming back to Star Wars. I mean, time has passed, and I mean, it's still a beloved franchise, and all the fans are going to ask him about Star Wars. I mean, that's what everyone kind of knows and gravitates to, and it's so beloved still. So yeah. Plus, Felicity Jones was at TIFF. They asked her too, and she turned and gave a one-word answer, and she said, "Maybe." And it's like, okay, well, how can she be in Star Wars? It would have to be like a prequel or something. Yeah.
I mean, I love her. I love illustrating her. She's one of my favorite characters to draw and paint. But it would have to be a flashback or a prequel to a prequel, something like that. Yeah,
it would be really technical. Do you watch the Graham Norton show at all?
I have, plenty of times.
Okay. The episode that Felicity Jones was on the couch, they brought up the TV, and they were talking about like tattoos, and some guy got like a photorealistic tattoo of Jyn Erso on his calf.
Oh, yeah.
And they noticed that he had to shave his leg for the tattoo to be put on. And then she was like, well, what happens when the hair grows back? She's like, there's going to be a bearded lady situation here. So I guess the guy's going to shave till the end, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And she also, it was shocking to me that she came to, I think it was 2017 Orlando Celebration, and she did autographs and photo ops, and I'm like regretting it now that I didn't do that.
I was at that celebration. I've been to all the U.S. ones except the very first one in Denver, but
wow,
that celebration I had some Rogue One art, some exclusive Rogue One art come out at the Disney parks. So I was running back and forth from Celebration at the Orange County Convention Center, and and then like at the end of the show at the end of the day at Celebration at like 6 or 7 o'clock, and then I'd run over to Disney 20 minutes down the road, and I would do signings all night for this Rogue One art. But since she was there and Alan Tudyk was there, people were buying the Rogue One prints and canvases, and then they would bring them to Celebration, and I would autograph them. And then a lot of people were getting them signed by Felicity and Alan. So that was really awesome, because I'd just be at my booth and people would bring up the new artwork, and I'm like, wow, like Jen Urso and K2SO signed the art. So
yeah, that's
awesome.
my
memory of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, I would have that same memory too, and that's really the way to do it. I mean, as an artist, take stuff that actual people will be there, because I would have done the same thing. Because
it was this nice serendipitous type thing that Disney had commissioned me to do some Rogue One art, and then they timed the release for Celebration, and then they happened to be at the event, so it was like it was just a really cool serendipitous type situation with all that.
There's someone on YouTube here that I want to ask your opinion on this. I'll bring it up here. It says, forgive me if I've asked before, but would you want more info so the movie shows might be spoiled, or to go into the movie show cold so that you may be surprised and more in awe?
I mean, that's a great question. Like, it's tricky for me to answer, because especially in the past, pre-Disney, I would often get completely spoiled on a lot of the Star Wars stuff. Well, not completely spoiled, but I get majorly spoiled on a lot of the films, because I'd be working on like licensing art or different book projects or publishing projects. So I get to see a lot of the images, or I'd get to read some of the story or the scripts. But it didn't totally ruin the experience for me, because I'd still go in. Because even though you see a series of still images, and you see the behind the scenes photos, reference images, I'd go into the theater and to see it play out in live action, and sometimes play out way differently than I thought it was going to be, even based off the images I was looking at. It was still exciting. I mean, I don't know. I'm still in that mindset where I'm not like this with every franchise, but with Star Wars, I kind of love knowing as much as I can for my career purpose, for what I do for a living, so that when like a licensor or Lucasfilm comes to me, I already know, more than they think, or I'm dialed in on what the project is or who the characters are. So for me, it helps my job when I get those kind of projects, like, oh, we need a Mandalorian and Grogu poster, and it's like, oh, I know what to do here with that. I know what characters might be incorporated here. But then again, like, part of me loves, I don't know, I do love going into it somewhat cold to a degree, but it's tricky with Star Wars for me to answer that. But as a fan, I could see not wanting to get spoiled, if you're not kind of involved in the industry like I am. But I don't think I'd want to completely spoil, but you do want to keep the conversation going by giving little tidbits here and there. It's a fine line, I think.
Yeah, very delicate balance. For me, to answer that question, I mentioned back in the 90s when the prequels were coming out, I wanted all the information I could get. But I knew that I wasn't going to get a lot of information, because the internet was in its infancy. There was not a lot of like spoilery things going around. I mean, Ain't It Cool News apparently had the whole script that you could have read. I never read it, and I had no idea until everything was all over that they actually were supplying the script to people online. But I guess it's that instinct that I have to, even if I didn't have this podcast for Star Wars, I would still want to see what they wanted to show us. And I love building off of that and speculating and thinking what it could possibly be and what I would do. And usually when you go into the movie, it's totally different from what you're
Yeah,
what your mind kind of goes to after the stuff you see in the trailer.
exactly.
And I'm just thinking about the Phantom Menace trailer right now. The opening with the pod, I didn't think that was like going to be Anakin behind that thing, and I didn't think it was going to be a race. I thought it was maybe like a chase or something, not like the Boonta Eve thing.
Even that first shot from the trailer with the Gungans on the
Yeah,
Adu going through the swamp and
yeah,
the fog, and like I remember thinking like, oh my god, that looks so cool and ominous, and it
yes,
turns out, oh, they're Gungans, and they're really, ultimately
yeah,
that was,
yeah,
like nothing at all what I expected, but it was such a cool shot,
right,
and mysterious, and so you never know, like you see the still images, but then you see the trailer, but then you're that, I mean, yeah, I love the speculation too, but it doesn't not always match up to what your head canon might be, and that's fun too. Like I love being
mhm.
surprised, as long as it's you know as long as ultimately it's really great and fun and entertaining, and so
Yeah. It's almost like when you're driving in the street, the highway, and there's like a wreck or something. It's like, how are you not going to look?
you can't
You
look
got to
away.
look to see what's going on. I mean,
Yeah,
just for safety too. I mean,
yeah.
if like other stuff is happening, you got to kind of, if you're
I
close to
can't
it.
resist it either. If there's
Yeah.
Star Wars stuff out there and it comes across my my phone or my computer screen, and even if it's spoilery, I'm like, okay, I got to check this out. I got to see what the latest gossip is or what the rumors
Yeah.
are. And sometimes some of it turns out to be true and sometimes not. But
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, we're Star Wars rubberneckers.
yeah, essentially.
And yeah, they also say, I know speculation is part of being a fan, but I also don't want to be spoiled before
Right.
watching. Yeah, nobody truly wants to
Not
be
completely.
spoiled
It's a
before
fine
watching.
line, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Darth Beard on YouTube says, making it Naboo or Camino makes it too small of a galaxy. This will be a whole new planet, I think. Expand the brand for the new and coming trilogy.
Yeah, it's kind of like, we've already got the desert planets pinned down between Tatooine and Jeddah and Jakku. It's like, okay, we don't need any more desert planets, and I'm sure there are plenty more, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind revisiting Naboo or Camino just because they're so important to the canon, and I mean, yeah, they've been revisited plenty
Right.
in the expanded universe and the animation,
Right.
but live action, I wouldn't mind, going back to Naboo for a brief little sequence or something.
I think if you had fans make a list of the top planets they would want to revisit, Naboo would be right at the top.
Yeah, I think
I,
so too.
yeah, I think we have kind of the same opinion there. Joseph Floyd on YouTube says, I'm glad for the hints, gives it more hype, honestly. I just hope it's as good as Endgame. That's tall order there. I know it's different
Yeah.
franchises.
Yeah, Endgame had like 10 years of movies building up to it.
Right.
Starfighter is its own thing, but
Yeah. Yeah, he also says new planet, new characters, new trilogy, new start, new planets we don't know yet. They haven't
that's
announced a trilogy for Starfighter, but they are saying it's a standalone film. Hopefully, if it is great, I wouldn't
yeah,
mind sequels.
yeah, I agree.
YouTube user says, I just don't watch trailers much anymore because they always give away too much. That is kind of true. I mean, sometimes with other franchises and other new movies, you watch a trailer and sometimes they lay out the whole thing, and it's like, there's a little bit too much.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Especially if you're involved in the speculation and you're watching all the YouTube channels and you're getting all the spy pics online, and then you start to piece it together in your mind and fill in the
Yeah.
blanks. You see the trailer, yeah. So I can't. I mean, but for me, movie trailers are an art form unto themselves. So I love watching trailers. Like I'm the kind of guy that I get there early when I go to the movies just to see all the trailers.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. Yeah, even though some movies definitely spoil way too much, but
Yeah.
can't resist it.
And I want to ask you this too. Joseph brings it up. I'd be very excited if R2 and 3PO showed up at least. They've been through all 9 movies. Why not the 10th one? What do you think about those classic characters like R2, Chewie, and 3PO,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course?
I mean, I love them. Of course, I'd love. I mean, putting them in the story, if it's a cameo, I mean, those are, if you're doing it for nostalgia reasons, like, yeah, that always is fun and it works. We got that in Rogue One. It makes more sense if they have something to do in the story, but if you're just going to throw in Memba berries, like it can get out of hand really quick. But then again, yeah, I mean, 3PO and R2 have been in all the movies, but if they don't fit this story, then I'm okay with them not. I mean, not everything has to connect to the classic trilogy and the prequel trilogy in terms of like, well, it's not a Star Wars movie if it doesn't have John Williams music, or if it's not a Star Wars movie if R2D2 doesn't show up. It's like, well, if it makes sense for him to be there and it's more than just for nostalgia reasons, then okay, but I'm okay with if they're not in the movie, honestly. And so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, Darth Beard on YouTube says George had a knack for doing the 3 trailers, but not giving much away until the last one. And even then, the mystery was still there. I agree. I think the way that they cut those trailers, like you gave that example of the Gungans, that looked like a hardcore, leading up to battle moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are some hardcore warriors. And of course, it was the Gungans.
Yeah, I mean, even the third Revenge of the Sith trailer, back in 2005, and it came out in early, what was it, January, February or something. And even that trailer, it still didn't have General Grievous in it. Like, he didn't even show up in the third. They kept him such a mystery, and as a surprise, really. I know he wasn't in the first 2 trailers, and I don't think he shows up in the third trailer. I could be wrong, but the fact that that George would keep things secretive. I mean, we knew about Grievous because he showed up in the Clone Wars micro series and also in Star Wars Insider magazine that January. I know all this because I got to illustrate him for his first reveal to the public as he's seen in the movie. So I was able to do that for Lucasfilm and Star Wars Insider, but he wasn't in the trailer. So that's how they were going to reveal him to the public, was in Star Wars Insider magazine. So,
okay. So I think we just, sorry, Joe.
Oh no, that's right. Go ahead.
I think we just got major breaking Star Wars news here. I just got a text from James, our co-host, who's not on, and it says the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer is set to release tomorrow.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Hopefully it's true. I think it's coming from a fan account reporting from a source called the Beyond Reporter. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's true. Hopefully it is. Because
we should be seeing something soon. I mean, the movie comes out next spring. And yeah, so I mean, the timing would be about right if it were to drop. I mean, definitely this fall for sure. If it's not going to be tomorrow, I would say October the latest. I would think they'd have a teaser out by then.
Yeah.
So I know with Rogue One, they were putting teasers and trailers out for that like over a year before the movie had even come out. Because I remember seeing those trailers forever. For Rogue One, and it really helped because when the movie came out, it made a bajillion dollars, but they had really advertised it really well at that point.
And I believe this is actually Zach from Japan. He's one of our regulars here. He says, I don't think R2 or C-3PO should show up because if they're starting new, they don't need reminders of the Skywalker series.
Right. That's a point. Yeah.
That. I mean, it's almost a little odd to me that is a common sentiment, but I don't know if it's just from the whole fatigue of the sequels and kind of the disappointment a little bit from fans.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, you can't keep hitting the same bell every time. You have to. I mean, even though Last Jedi divided some fans, I mean, it made good points in the sense that you have to, kill the past, basically. You can't keep redoing the same story over and over. You have to go into new territory. You have to try new things. You have to push the boundaries. And even if it means breaking away from classic characters like R2 and 3PO, then yeah, I mean, it's a huge galaxy. I mean, Andor showed us that, there's so much more out there, and like stories can be wildly different
Mm-hmm.
and still feel like Star Wars and still be really amazing. So, yeah, I'm okay with kind of steering clear of classic trilogy characters. I mean, if we want to visit some locations, sure, but even then, it's like, yeah, let's see some new stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Darth Beard says on YouTube, the breathing taser from Attack of the Clones was amazing. I do remember that,
Yeah, it's a
and
good
I
one.
can hear it and see it right now in my
Yeah.
head. It was awesome, and I can see the Naboo cruiser and the breathing.
Yeah. Wow, I haven't thought about that one in a while, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was a great. I mean, I know. Yeah, I've seen these trailers so many times, but that's a good one.
Oh, Zach says maybe like a part of them, like a head or something in the junk pile.
We don't. You don't want to do
Yeah,
them
we
dirty.
want that. So Joseph also says on YouTube, I thought they were supposed to have a Droid's Tale show, probably shelved. I
Yeah.
haven't heard about that in a long time. Kathy Kennedy did announce it at the investor call meeting back in 2019, I think.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the last shows on the list. But yeah, I'm not sure what the status of that is.
Yeah.
They're
Was
probably
that
working.
supposed to be animated or live? I thought it was animated or some kind of
Yeah, that's what I kind
PG.
of figured too. I mean, I think Anthony Daniels, of course, was going to come back and voice 3PO,
I remember
and
seeing
it,
the logo for it. They had a logo when they
yeah, it
announced
was
it.
kind of like steel or
Mhm.
cobalt, and it just said droids on it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I mean, there was the Lando show, Droid's Tales, a few other shows that got shuffled and truncated and kind of put into Mandalorian, like Rangers of the New Republic. Um, so not everything that got announced ultimately, Taika Waititi's movie. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, the thing with Lucasfilm though, they never throw anything away. Like if they've worked on something, if they've developed something, even if it doesn't like get fully fleshed out, they won't lose track of it. It could come back in some shape or fashion or get revisited or even part of it even. So we'll see.
yeah, that's my wife said that's my biggest problem. I never throw anything away. So yeah. So yeah, Joseph Floyd brings up something that's very near and dear to me. Watch them bring back Tatooine. Lots of laughs. I mean, Tatooine has a lot of unexplored sand and dunes and surface area because if you read the Certain Point of View book for I believe A New Hope, they
Mhm.
talk about all the previous battles, and there somebody made like this infographic of like all the different layers in this sand that like demarks time that has passed
Oh wow.
and all the different like crash ships from different
Mhm.
battles, and it's got such a rich history to it. You could do a show or a movie about Tatooine all in and itself and just have it go back to maybe Dawn of the Jedi type time.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I mean, it's Tatooine. We have not seen the last of it in live action, and I think the Dawn of the Jedi thing is even a good point. Or even like Jeddah. We know that Jeddah is like this holy planet for Jedi, and
yep,
or Actu even. From
yep.
Last Jedi. We know those are important Jedi planets. So those could always pop up in like a Dawn of the Jedi movie from Mangold, but yeah, there's always storytelling potential for lots of you know Star Wars planets we've already visited, but um, yeah, I mean, if they did something really cool with it, I'd be happy to go back there if the story was really good.
For sure. Darth Beard on YouTube says, who do you guys want as a Star Wars composer going forward? With John Williams retiring and Giacchino busy with Marvel, are we getting someone from the TV shows?
You know, Kevin Kiner he kills it with the animated series and the Ahsoka live action series. So, I mean,
And with his son, too.
Yeah. And Giacchino has a son that scores too, right?
Yeah, I got to meet him at San Diego Comic-Con, and
Yeah,
he
because
did a
what did
roundtable with us, and he's a pretty cool guy.
what was the thing he did recently?
The Penguin.
The Penguin. That's
Yep.
right. He did the music for the Penguin. So it's interesting that you've got two really good composers and their sons are like putting stuff out or helping them. I think in Kevin's case, yeah, he's scoring that show with his son. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I would have to say Kevin Kiner. I mean, if I love Giacchino's Rogue One score, like it's so good. Um, but
I think I love all this stuff.
yeah, oh yeah. I
From
mean,
Spider-Man to
I'm just thinking Star
Star
Wars. Yeah,
Trek.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Of
I mean, it's
course.
all great.
Yeah, and you know Hans Zimmer is always amazing, but Denis Villeneuve has him wrapped up with Dune stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, a Hans Zimmer Star Wars score would be pretty cool because I love Zimmer's stuff. But
Yeah.
I'd probably say Kevin Kiner just makes the most sense because he's dialed into the John Williams style, but still does his own thing.
So yeah, Ludwig did
Oh yeah,
Oppenheimer. So
Mhm.
is Nolan carrying him over to the Odyssey?
Oh
Because
I
Ludwig
bet.
might be
Well,
available.
yeah, and they worked on Tenet together too. But
Mhm.
then again, you know, Ludwig did Sinners, which was freaking
Right.
amazing. I love that movie, but I love that soundtrack. I love that score. Man, I would like to see him do more Star Wars too.
Do you know about Ludwig and Ryan Coogler's relationship?
Some a little bit how they didn't they go to college together?
They were college roommates.
Yeah. I
And
know a little bit
Ryan
about
would tell him, "I want to be a director," and he said, "When I make it, you're going to be
it.
my
Yeah,
composer." And it's like, how in the world are those like two massively creative people roommates, and then they make
mhm,
that promise to each other, and then it like comes to fruition, and now they're like academy level people in the industry.
right.
It's an incredible thing, man.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean having roommates. I mean, I had a roommate who was a really talented illustrator, and we were both kind of it was friendly competition. We were
Mhm.
roommates, and we were like you know practically best friends, but at the same time we were competing with one another in art college. But it made us you know I don't it drove our passion and our competitiveness kind of drove us to succeed in that regard. And I think we were kind of well known at our school for like really giving it our all the time. So I mean I don't know the level of Kugler and Goranson, that's a different thing, but I can sort of relate in a weird way how like if I didn't have that friend who pushed me in school, I don't know if I would be where I am now, but we
Interesting.
kind of had that
Okay.
same dynamic.
Well, you got to hear, so
Oh yeah.
that's pretty awesome, right there.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for everyone watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Joe Corroney made those two pieces of art that you always see behind me. So he's
Yeah,
here.
those
The
were
man is here.
yeah, thanks for displaying those. That's so awesome. Those were San Diego Comic Con exclusives
Yeah, 2024.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, I took my poster tube and everything because I knew I was going to pick them up. I knew I was going to run into you, and I was like, those look too good to
Oh,
pass up.
thanks, man.
So I had to get them.
That's awesome.
And yeah, Joseph Floyd, they just heard us earlier. Wait, what? I'm gonna keep an eye out for that trailer, man. I hope it's true. It's not official, I don't think, anywhere yet. Maybe it's blowing up online. I don't know, but yeah, we're doing the podcast.
Yeah. Probably when we jump off here, we can confirm it.
Yeah, it looks like Zach says, will the trailer be the same y'all seen at the one at convention celebration? I don't think so. They showed us in Japan that like kind of like action sequence type thing, and then they had like a little sizzle reel at the very end where you got to actually see Rada the Hutt in the pit,
Hmm.
very muscular looking Hutt,
Yeah.
as all the descriptions told
Yeah.
us.
A
Um,
lot of times those celebration trailers don't carry over to the public. They're just
yeah.
so I'm friends with someone at Lucasfilm who cuts trailers for especially for the animated series, and so he cuts those trailers, and they're cut specifically for celebration audiences, and those aren't usually released online. And if they do, it's not the same exact edit. It'll be pretty different once it comes to the public.
Did you see the opening ceremony sizzle reel / trailer that they did in Japan, where it started out with a black screen and had the hologram of Leia?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I saw that or not on YouTube.
It was incredible, man. Whoever cut that. And then the thing that we kind of talked about on the podcast was the fact that when they showed Din Djarin, big cheer. And then they showed Diego Luna, massive cheer. And we were just like, yes, the fans are loving Andor. Their fans are showing their support for Andor, man. This is so great. And I knew the whole cast was there, and they probably heard it.
That's awesome.
Like, yes, this is what I wanted to hear and feel at Celebration. It was worth flying to Japan.
Yeah. I'm usually stuck at my booth for these events. I wasn't in Japan this time, but when I'm at Celebration, I'm always stuck at my booth like all day from morning until close, and so I never get to go. Usually, don't get to go into the panels or the big presentations, but everyone comes out and they're all jazzed and hyped up, and they have posters, and I hear all about it. And, if we're lucky, I get to see something on YouTube maybe later, but.
Yeah. Darth Beard says on YouTube, he says, I agree with that, Joe, but that movie divided the fandom way too much. Which movie were you talking about?
I was probably talking about The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear you mention The Last Jedi.
Well, I think I was talking about
Octu.
About Kill the Past,
okay, yeah.
Kylo's line about how we need to kind of try new things and push, Starfighter needs to be its own thing, I think. I mean, the less it connects with, it should be connected with the sequel trilogy if it's only 5 years out, but at the same time, we don't need, and it should obviously connect to the overall lore. We want it to feel like Star Wars. We want that mythology in there, but it doesn't have to concern itself with Luke Skywalker, or it doesn't have to concern itself with Darth Vader or the Jedi necessarily. It can be kind of like Solo, where it's its own, its own story, its own action adventure, and still have the Star Wars trappings to it.
Going back to the score here, Blue Milk Intelligence on YouTube says Alan Silvestri, but I think that's Kevin Feige's guy now.
He did do the Marvel theme music, and he has done the Avengers, and he probably will be pretty busy with the next few Avengers.
Doomsday and Secret
Wars. I do love Alan Silvestri, though. His Predator score is one of my favorite scores of all time, and
then Back to the Future. Darth Beard also says Han said he wouldn't do Star Wars.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, he's done with the superhero thing too, because after he did Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, I think he was just kind of like, I just wanted to see if I could do it, and so that makes sense if he wouldn't be interested in Star Wars, but still, he's a great composer.
Yeah. So this past Sunday was the Emmys, and they held a different, the kind of traditionally, I guess, I wouldn't say they're smaller awards, but Andor won 4 Emmys previously the prior weekend, and we talked about them, but this past Sunday, they won another Emmy for Outstanding Writing for Dan Gilroy, and Dan Gilroy gave such a great speech when he got up there. I think the first thing he said was, "We have friends everywhere," and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, that was awesome.
And just to hear him speak, he sounds exactly like Tony. They're brothers, of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like the cadence, if you just closed your eyes, you sounded exactly like Tony.
yeah. That was interesting. Yeah, I was that. I mean, Andor deserved all the Emmys, and I
Mm,
was just talking about this too. I can't. It sucks that Genevieve O'Reilly wasn't nominated because she was so great in Andor. I mean,
right.
everyone was great, but since she was a main character, like she was a lead for the series, I mean, she should have been at least nominated, I feel. I mean, to play a character over the course of like practically 20 years and just do, and to finally have a showcase for the character that
Yeah.
shows her real talent. And not only did she hit a home run, like she knocked it out of the stadium, so
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, her as Mon Mothma and what her character, the complexities of that character and what she went through and what she had to juggle. I was just like, I mean, I know Kristen Molinati from Penguin
Yeah.
won. And I watched Penguin. I love the Penguin, and she was great in it.
Yeah,
And so
she's
nothing to
phenomenal.
take away from her,
Right.
but at the same time, I was like, but Genevieve should have gotten nominated,
Yeah,
and
at
I would
least the
have loved for
nomination.
her
I
to
totally
win.
agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there should be rules like how many to a category. If the performance was that good, you expand it. Almost like
right.
Best Picture at the Oscars, you expand.
Yeah, they had to do that after The Dark Knight made
Yeah.
like $1 trillion. They were like, and they didn't get nominated for Best Picture, so
And
they
then Heath
added
Ledger
more.
won for Best Supporting
Yeah,
Actor. It's like, I mean, and it was Nolan too. I mean,
right.
he really did a job on that movie. But yeah, I agree. Genevieve O'Reilly, she was actually the star of the episode that got the
Yeah,
Emmy for outstanding writing. And she gave that incredible speech that we all know and love. It's going to go down in Star Wars history as one of the best
yeah,
speeches. And Dan Gilroy did mention her in his acceptance speech. So that was wonderful. That was great.
yeah. She
So
delivered over.
yeah, the end tally for Andor is 5 Emmys
Yeah,
out of the
all
2
deserved. Yeah.
seasons. Yeah, outstanding writing for a drama series. That was a huge award for that series. And there's a lot of great TV shows. None that I really watch, but I've heard that like The Pit won a lot, and of course the
Mm.
studio won. I think set the record for most trophies in
Severance
the
won
night or
some, I
something.
think. Yeah.
So yeah, and it feels like this is kind of it for Andor, and it's kind of the end of the media and marketing
Hmm.
Emmy push and everything. It seems like, unless they do a continuation somehow with the surviving characters, which we talked about last podcast. Maybe do like a Vel and Clea
Hmm.
hunting down the Imperial remnant,
Yeah.
which would be
I,
cool, and maybe have Dedra Miro as almost like a Hannibal Lecter type character.
yeah. Didn't someone pitch that to Tony Gilroy in an interview,
Yes.
and he was like, "I love that idea. I'm sure that Kathy Kennedy will hear that idea soon."
Yeah. And then there's so many fans saying, yeah, Tony Gilroy needs to be back. And then Tony Gilroy's like, well, I just spent 10 years of my life, guys, on
Yeah.
Star Wars. I kind of want to take a break, do something a little different.
Hmm.
And I don't blame him. I was watching before the podcast, I was watching a interview he was doing, a very recent interview. And he mentioned the fact that they went into doing Andor the first season, like very much kind of not thinking about the magnitude of the series. And he said originally the way it was planned out, it would have taken them about 10 years to complete the full arc of the story. And he and of course we all know he was like, yeah, that's not happening. So then that's when they
Yeah.
came up with the 3-episode block arcs to
Right.
do a year per arc.
Every 3 episodes. Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, there's no way I could have lasted. And he essentially said, I didn't want to die on this show.
Right. And
So
then the other issue you have, like if it takes at least a few years, if not longer, to do one, and they're going to do 4 more, every year leading up to Rogue One, if that's 4 more seasons, by the time Diego Luna gets to, and those actors get to the end of the final season, they're going to look so much older than they did in Rogue One. So it would have taken like 10 years to film another 4 seasons. It was just too much for them to bite off. Even though they pitched it that way, that's how they wanted to approach it. But I think we still won out ultimately. I mean, we got some. I mean, we got such a great. I love season 2 was even superior to season 1, and it was a truncated version of their idea, and it was still incredible.
Yeah. And if this is the ultimate end for Andor and Rogue One, that whole, it's almost like a trilogy in a way, a long form trilogy between Rogue One, Andor season 1, Andor season 2. I mean, you got the trilogy aspect to it, but you also got prequels to it. So it was almost like a confined microcosm of what we've experienced Star Wars to be. And if this is the end, they ended off with a bang with that last Emmy and got recognition. And
it's so crazy to think a Star Wars series is now Star Wars is an Emmy-winning series. Like Star Wars has won Emmys. That's just amazing to me.
Yeah. I mean, that was really the dream when they created streaming and said, we're going to do Star Wars shows. It's like, we hope and pray that they do the right thing here and have like some real quality stuff. And Andor is top tier.
Yeah. Well, and the animation has won tons of awards too.
Yes.
I mean, Star Wars Lucasfilm Animation has just every time they have put something out, it's been incredible and award winning. So, but for a Disney Plus Star Wars series live action to win Emmys is like, it's like a bucket list thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's an incredible thing to live to see. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about here is Spaceballs 2.
Oh yeah.
Joe, what is your Spaceballs experience? When did you first see the movie?
I saw it as a kid in the theater, so I was, God, when did that come out? Was that 84, 85? Man, I can't even remember now. But I've seen it in the theater as a kid, and of course
87.
Was it 87? Holy cow, it seems so much sooner. Okay. I remember sitting in the theater to watch that. And I haven't seen it, obviously not like Star Wars over and over again over the years. I've seen it a handful of times. And I love Mel Brooks. I love his movies. Especially the early ones like Young Frankenstein. But yeah, Spaceballs was it was fun. I have a soft spot for it for sure. Whenever I go to conventions and I see the costumes from Spaceballs, there's always a barf walking around. There's always like a dark helmet and there's favorite scenes I have too. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, as a kid, they would air it on our Fox station on TV, and I would always catch bits and pieces of it. So I never really saw it from beginning to end. And not until this past year, they did something at the Alamo Draft House where you paid for your ticket. It was a little bit more expensive, but they gave you props. They gave you a comb. They gave us, what else did they give us? They gave us other stuff. I can't remember anymore, but I still have the comb. Actually, is a functional comb. So that's the one I always go for when I need one, when my hair grows out. But yeah, it was awesome to see in the theater finally. I had never seen it in the theater. And yeah, I mean, it's been so long that yes, there is going to be a Spaceballs 2. Mel Brooks, he's in his 90s. He's going to be back kind of running it. Josh Gad, who hosted the panels at Orlando 2017, specifically the Last Jedi panel. I remember I was there. He is writing the story, and I've seen some other stuff like John Candy's son might actually play Barf, or Barf's son. Son of Barf.
I think I heard that.
So to have that like synergy there. And of course, Rick Moranis, he retired from acting to raise his children. Unfortunately, his wife passed away. So he stepped away from acting, raised his kids. His kids are adults, of course. He actually appeared pretty close to me in San Antonio at, I believe it was, I think, Alamo City Comic-Con. Okay. It was at the Alamo Dome. He was there. It was incredible. I got to attend one of his panels, and he's back as Dark Helmet.
Oh wow, I hadn't heard that. That's cool.
Yeah, there's paparazzi after Rick Moranis. Wherever they're shooting, there's pictures of him on the street, like going to set, and it's
wow.
like that's wild. That's great that he has paparazzi doing his photos and stuff. Like it's a big deal because it is a big deal.
Yeah, he's retired. He hadn't done anything for a long time.
Yeah, he's been away from the spotlight for so long. But there is also a report out there, and I'll show you the picture. It says John Boyega says he wants to appear in the Star Wars parody movie Spaceballs 2.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty funny, pretty meta.
I think that would be awesome to have actual Star Wars actors in the movie, because way back when, George Lucas gave his blessing for Mel Brooks to do Spaceballs. Like he's given his blessing to The Simpsons, he's given his blessing to Family Guy, and they've all pretty much been great. I mean, they've been a good time, a good laugh, and
I would think it would be. I mean, with Mel Brooks, like I don't know, like I mean, I love his older stuff. His newer stuff doesn't quite hit the same. I don't know. I mean, but I would love for Spaceballs to be really funny and to have, some resonance with the Star Wars fan base again, and just have like someone like John Boyega in it. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, John Boyega, like we talked about, Oscar Isaac, I think he's softening up to the idea of coming back to Star Wars. And I think if he does do Spaceballs, I think he's kind of maybe gearing up to make his return. Hopefully in this new Rey film that is 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker. And I'm hoping that actually happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see. Finn got kind of shortchanged in the sequel trilogy. Started off with some great potential, and unfortunately, just his character just kind of didn't really evolve a whole lot through the next few films. So he kind of needs to. I mean, it'd be fun to see him in Spaceballs too, of course, but to have Finn actually in the mythology come back and because John's a great actor. I mean, he's really good in those movies, and he's so charismatic as a person. So I mean, he could, if they give him the right material and the right story arc, I mean, we could see him. We could see Finn. Sort of being just sort of resuscitated. By the franchise and maybe get the love he deserves.
Definitely. And going back to our trailer talk, that first The Force Awakens trailer, we thought that he was maybe going to be a Jedi or Force sensitive.
Yeah.
And it turns out he was, but they didn't tell us. It was like exposition. It was like off-camera knowledge that when he was seeking, I think, in Rise of Skywalker, and he was like trying to say, Rey, I want to tell you something.
Right.
And it made it seem like he wanted to say maybe like, I love you or something.
Right.
But it was really J.J. Abrams revealed that no, he wanted to tell Rey that he was Force sensitive.
I think the fans kind of knew that. They had kind of, like, it had all been set up and it was all leaning that way. But when you didn't follow through with it, that's where the letdown is. And he didn't really get to, fully engage that character arc, I think. So, yeah, I mean, let's see Rey training him, and let's see them working with the next generation of Jedi.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to see that. Another award that was won, I'll bring it up on the screen here, for outstanding sound editing for the Music by John Williams documentary.
Yeah.
That happened too. That documentary is awesome. You get to really see behind the scenes of kind of the man behind the music. And of course, I mean, he is the maestro.
Yeah, he's
the greatest composer of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he's up there with Mozart and Bach and all those guys. Yeah. I mean, if anyone has claim to lay, it's John Williams to be in the ranks of those musicians in history.
Yeah, I mean, his music changed cinema history, not only in some of the biggest franchises ever, but even just some of the greatest one-off films ever, like Jaws or Close Encounters, or I mean, the list goes on and on.
I mean, I want to say he changed my brain chemistry.
Yeah.
when I heard the score to Star Wars, it was so masterful.
Yeah.
That when I listened to it, I was like, all movies are incredible like this. And then when you see the next film that's not Star Wars, it's like, wait a minute.
I mean,
this is not as good as Star Wars.
His music themes are so imbued into my childhood, you know, like even Superman, right? Like,
yes.
Like hearing his Superman theme as a little kid, that theme made me love Superman. Like, I loved the movie, but when I would hear that music as a kid, I would just, you know, want to throw on my Superman shirt. I had like a little red Superman cape that had a clasp on it, and I'd put that on, and I would just, you know, hear that music in my head, or I'd hear it on TV or on VHS or something, and yeah. So his music, especially for Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I mean, you can't not hear the Raiders March and not just get your adrenaline pumping, you know, and start getting goosebumps, you know, if you're driving and it comes on the iTunes on you know, random shuffle or whatever, and it's like all of a sudden you're just like, I feel like Indiana Jones, you know, like it's yeah, come on, he's the best.
Yeah, I mean, his music, it gets the people going. I think that's all you can ask for, and he's probably did it the best. Also, Harry Potter. The music in Harry Potter is fantastic as well. The theme song. I know there was other composers that did the later movies, but
right.
I mean, he set the tone, the foundation, and I mean, he's unbeatable. There's no one out there like him. I mean,
he's definitely one of a kind.
There are other great composers, of course, like Giacchino and Hans Zimmer and Ludwig Göransson. I mean, he's up and coming still, even though he has an Academy Award. Maybe he has two of them, right? He has two. He has one for Black Panther and one for Oppenheimer now.
Right.
So yeah, he's Academy Award winning composer.
And he's so fast. So like even his music for Sinners is so stylistically different, you know, from his other films, but it's still just as epic, you know, it's just as incredible that he's so versatile as a musician, that he can play these different instruments and he has these different influences.
Wouldn't surprise me at all if he won again. If he gets a third for that. Yeah,
he probably will for Sinners, or he'll get.
And he's such a young man too. I mean, he's got. Maybe he'll. I mean, I know it's like sacrilegious to say it, but maybe he will kind of surpass John Williams if he keeps at it. Man.
John's got a lot of awards though. I
think something like in the 70s or 90s and like nominations or something.
But I mean, but in terms of like Oscars, doesn't he owns more than 10, I think. He owns a lot of Oscars. I know that. He's like, I think him and Dennis Murin from ILM have like the most Oscars out of anyone.
He has 5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Yes. Best original score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
So, I thought he won more than that.
Okay. He's been nominated. Okay, I was wrong. I was a little overboard there. So John Williams has been nominated for 54 Academy Awards.
Yeah. That's insane.
That is insane. 6 Emmy Awards, winning 3, 26 Golden Globe Awards, winning 4, 76 Grammy Awards. That's incredible too. Winning 26, 16 British Academy Film Awards, winning 7, 23 Saturn Awards, winning 10.
Wow. Yeah,
I mean, he's pretty much untouchable. I mean, he's gold standard. And he's still performing at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, he just did a concert. Was it last year or the year before? I know he did a couple shows there not that long ago.
Yeah, I think he had some ailment and he still showed up and he was in a wheelchair. I don't think he's wheelchair bound or anything, but I mean, he still wanted to see the fans there in the Hollywood Bowl. And I mean, it's just, I mean, there's not a, I mean, there's like no words almost, you know, it's just, like I said, I'm pretty sure he altered my brain chemistry.
Yeah.
Listening to that music and just being there in my life in
Yeah.
those movies. Yeah, incredible. It's just wow. So Joe, the next topic, it's all about you.
Uh-oh.
Who is Joe Corroney? What is Joe Corroney?
Why is Joe Corroney?
Why is Joe Corroney? So yeah, tell us a little bit about your career. Tell us a little bit about your experiences. Maybe a good funny story or two on the con circuit.
Oh my God. I've been doing cons, conventions, Comic-Con, Star Wars celebrations for over 20 years. But I've been in the industry as a Star Wars illustrator. And I started out as a comic book artist as well, since probably, God, I've been doing this a long time. So technically I started getting published when I was still in art college, which would have been around 94, 95. I was getting published doing some independent comics, and then broke into Star Wars a couple years later doing illustrations for the original Star Wars role-playing game. If any of your listeners and watchers out there remember that, it was the D6 game from West End Games. They did the
West End
very
Games.
first. They came out like in the mid to late 80s.
Right.
And I got hooked up with them right out of art college and illustrated about 12 different books.
That's incredible, Joe.
Yeah. So that was my first Star Wars work.
Wow.
Was right out of art school getting published with them. And it was a dream because this is before the special editions had even come out. So like the Star Wars nostalgia and hype wasn't really there still. Like you were getting some Dark Horse comics, but there wasn't a lot of Star Wars material coming out. And I was already collecting the role-playing game as a kid going through junior high and into high school. And so I was very aware, and I had these books, and I'm like, I would love to just do Star Wars art, because there wasn't, a lot of opportunities out there other than Dark Horse and maybe one or two other licensors. So, so I got published with them, and then that led to me doing work, like a year or two later for Lucasfilm directly on some different Star Wars projects, and then other licensors. Over the years, including Dark Horse, but also lots of work for Topps for the trading cards over the last 20 some years, which I'm still doing work for them now. Nice. Can't talk too much about it, but I will.
Look what I pulled the other day.
Oh yeah, which autograph is that?
It's actually Sam Witwer.
Oh, nice. He was
his character in Skeleton Crew.
Oh, okay.
He was the driver.
That's awesome. You pulled that card. Yeah. So so over the years, I've illustrated tons of base cards, like different scenes, like for Star Wars Galaxy trading cards, which are usually like art sets that have a lot of different artists in them. So I've done tons of cards for that, and tons of sketch cards over the years too.
Awesome.
So I'm working on some different projects with them now for Star Wars. And then over the years, I've just done lots of other licensing art. The last 5 years have mostly been posters, like the ones behind you. Mm-hmm. I've been doing a lot of Star Wars posters for licensing, for the different Disney Plus shows. Oh yeah, there's the Bo-Katan Between Two Worlds poster I did for Mandalorian season 3. Mm-hmm. The Shin Hati poster and Baylan Skull for the Ahsoka live action series. Which is so that's like a dream come true for me as a Star Wars fan. I grew up with Star Wars, obviously. It just growing up in the 70s and 80s, I was 4 years old when A New Hope came out. So I was at the perfect age, and Star Wars just took over my life as a kid. And I grew up with the Kenner action figures. And so even in the dark times when there wasn't a lot of Star Wars stuff coming out after Return of the Jedi, I was still collecting whatever I could. I was still reading and whatever I could. I was that big of a fan back then. And I knew once I got in art college, my goal was to get published with Dark Horse Comics and do Star Wars comics, and basically even Star Wars posters one day, because I was a big fan of Drew Struzan. So now getting to do Star Wars posters for different Star Wars movies and TV shows. Like I have to pinch myself sometimes because this is what I spent my whole life training for and practicing and studying. And even if I'm illustrating Star Trek or if I'm illustrating other movies and TV shows, to me it always comes back to Star Wars because that's where that's where my passion is and where my influences come from. So
that's awesome. So Zach from Japan is saying, what's your pull in Star Wars and how can I get Lucasfilm to come to Japan and film me being an extra?
Oh, it's not.
And then he says, yeah, not asking much, just an extra is fine.
I'm just one of many hired freelance illustrators that they work with. So I don't know how much pull I really have, honestly. I mean, yeah, no, I couldn't make that happen. I mean, I would like to be in a Star Wars production myself. So, but that'd be me hitting up Filoni at the right time in the right place where we actually cross paths and I can bug him, but I don't know if that'll happen. So,
so the next convention, what's the next convention?
I got 3 more this year. I actually coming to sort of near you. I've got Dallas Fan Festival coming up in early October, and then I got New York Comic Con in mid-October right after that, which that's a huge one. That one's really big. And then after that, I come back to Texas for San Antonio. I'll be at SpaceCon, and that's late October, like October 26th.
Yes, the weekend before Halloween.
Yeah. So are you going to be at that one?
I will be there with the table.
Nice. I'll see you there.
And we'll be the booth with the big animatronic stormtrooper from Home Depot. We're wrapping that away, actually.
Oh wow! I'm gonna sign up for that then. Yeah, they have the Chewbacca. And I think it's a Darth Vader.
There's a Vader, and then there's an R2 that's about to be released, and apparently that's the one everyone wants. And I don't know why Home Depot is like very hesitant to put that on sale, because right now if you go to the website it says sold out, but it hasn't been put to sell yet. So
interesting.
I don't know what the delay is.
I don't know where I would even fit that in my house, but
yeah, it's a life-size 1-to-1. The dome spins. It doesn't roll. It's on a base,
right?
And you can put like Christmas ornaments, have it in a Christmas mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the Stormtrooper, you can have it in Halloween mode. He has like a bucket shaped like the Death Star. Or you could do Christmas mode. He has the hat and the candy cane, and it's animatronic. It moves, it talks, and of course it's 6 feet tall with the base. And
they had a Yoda last year, didn't they? Didn't they do a Yoda? And
they've done stuff in the past before, but it seems like it's more well known this year.
Okay.
And my buddy Craig 5, that's a host on the podcast, he bought the Chewbacca, and when you take it out of the box, it's all scruffy looking. But there are groups on Facebook that show you how to make it look more screen accurate. And I saw a video the other day that Craig sent me. It looks exactly like Peter Mayhew in that thing.
That's
and
awesome.
He actually put the blue eyes in it, and then they put like eyeliner, and then they fixed the hair like the specific way, like an Empire. And oh my gosh, it looks fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, because the photos of Chewie weren't really impressing me that much, but
yeah, out of the box, no, he's all like ruffled up. But if you put some time in and fix him up, he can look really good.
That's really cool. Yeah, so I'll have to look for that Stormtrooper in San Antonio at SpaceCon.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They're gonna have a crazy that guest list is crazy. Like a lot of isn't Ian McDermott's last U.S. appearance?
Somebody said that. Somebody said specifically last appearance in Texas.
I heard something that. I mean, I basically heard it was his last U.S. appearance, just because of he's getting up there in age, and
I mean, I would think he would come back to L.A. for the 50th anniversary at Star Wars Celebration. True. I think that might be his last ever.
I could see that happening. Yeah. I mean, I know Lucasfilm's going all out for Celebration LA for the 50th anniversary. I mean, they were planning it even before Japan, so they were already. They're going to be pulling out all the stops for that one. So
you would figure. I mean, Orlando, the 40th celebration, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Hayden, Ian, George Lucas was there the whole time at that 40th panel.
Yeah.
So that to me was the greatest panel of all time, because every living Star Wars character, actor, anyone of like extreme importance to Star Wars was there. And then they opened the curtain, and then John Williams was there, and we got a little private concert. That was the best. I think I stayed awake for more than 24 hours. And after that, like, our minds were just like blown and numb. And I remember after that, we left. We didn't even stay at the convention. We had to go eat because we hadn't eaten so long. I think we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. I ate. We went to the hotel and we slept for like 16 hours. It was worth it. I mean, that was an experience. That's where I met Craig. I met Colin.
Wow.
And I was too excited. I couldn't sleep. People were sleeping, and I was like, I knew something incredible was going to happen. I just knew it. And DJ Elliott came out at 2 a.m. and started doing his DJ stuff.
Oh, wow.
So he woke up everyone that was trying to sleep on the hard concrete. And we've talked about this so many times on the podcast, but it was incredible. It was a once in a lifetime experience. And the time went by quick too.
Yeah. The things I love that about Celebration, because they have those experiences, those once in a lifetime type moments that they happen like every day at Celebration, that you just won't ever happen again in the Star Wars community for the franchise and the fandom. I have so many great memories of Celebrations going all the way back to my first one at Celebration 2 in Indianapolis back in 2002, and then even some of the overseas ones like Celebration Europe and Germany and London.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those were just incredible experiences.
Yeah, I went to the last London one. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was so cool. The people were great. Same thing with Japan. The people were great. They were very accommodating. They were nice. They were kind, and it was a great experience, man. And when you're, the unique thing about Star Wars fandom is online, it's not so great, but in person, everyone's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that for reality, right? Like, everyone online is always complaining and making noise, but in person, everyone's much more civil and respectful, and you're not getting grilled on what kind of fan you are, or, So Celebrations are always like a positive, like, just like, it's my favorite convention, and not just because I'm a Star Wars fan or a Star Wars artist for a living, but I mean, I do get to see so many of my friends all in one place, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, every time I go to a con, I do look for you because I know you're there.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of shows. I mean, I do about, I want to say, like, maybe 17 or 18 on average a year, and I'm trying to slow down because I'm trying to get more projects out. So actually this year I'm doing a little less than the year before, and next year I'm doing a little less. So I mean, if I can keep it around 10 to 15 or even less than 15, I would be really happy. So I do the big ones. I definitely do like a lot of the major conventions, and I squeeze in a few small ones here and there.
Yeah. Darth Beard on YouTube says the funniest was J.J. Abrams taking everyone out of Hall H for the John Williams show, leaving Kevin Smith with like 5 people in the crowd as he was up next.
That was at San Diego Comic-Con for that Force Awakens panel that he did before. And so I was there, right? So that's completely true. So JJ had the panel before Kevin Smith and his, I think it was Clerks 3 maybe or something that he was doing. And so the whole Hall H crowd, JJ took with him when he left the panel because they had a big surprise. And so no one was really left in the hall for Kevin's panel. And that's usually a really crowded Hall H is a big deal. Right. But prior to that happening, so I was at my booth at San Diego, and a buddy of mine at Lucasfilm, Pete Vilmer, was like, he told me and my buddy Chris Trevis, who does Star Wars art too, because he was there at the show, and he's like, "Hey guys, like there's something big going down at the park behind the convention center. For JJ has a big surprise. Like if you guys can get out there early before the panel ends, you'll be there for it." And so this was like the panel ended like I think right at 7:00 when the convention hall was supposed to close. But I packed up my booth early, and me and Chris booked it over to the park behind the convention center at San Diego. And of course, no one's there yet because everyone's still in Hall H. This is like 20 minutes or so before.
Yeah.
And there's security out there, and we had to say like, "Oh, we're with Lucasfilm, we're artists," and we kind of BS'd our way in essentially. They weren't letting anyone in yet.
Yeah.
And we got in, and we went all the way to the front of the stage, and so we were the first people there in the park. And then of course we see from a distance, like 15-20 minutes later, JJ leading the crowd from Hall H outside the convention center at San Diego to the park, like which is just across the street. So we had this huge crowd coming, and then all of a sudden the outdoor park just filled up, and Disney was handing out lightsabers, and then JJ came out on stage and introduced the whole Force Awakens cast. I was like 5 feet away from Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. They were right in front of me in the stage. So, all because my buddy at Lucasfilm was like, "Hey, you guys should probably get out there early if you can." And we booked it over there. So that was
Did you take any pictures?
Oh yeah, I took. Yeah,
okay.
We took pictures and video. They did a mini Star Wars in concert with the John Williams score. I think John Williams was there. He did just a small selection of music cues, and they played the footage on the screen. And
okay.
It was incredible. There were fireworks.
And they gave out lightsabers, right?
Yeah, Disney handed out plastic lightsabers to everybody. That's when you knew, because that Star Wars was big again, because there hadn't been a movie in 10 years, I guess, at that point. Force Awakens,
2005.
Yeah, but Disney had the kind of budget that they just had unlimited resources compared to like Lucasfilm, which, it's a movie studio, but Disney is like 100 times what Lucasfilm is. Yeah. So Disney pulled out all the stops with that Star Wars panel. After the panel, when they did the whole presentation, they had the entire cast and the fireworks and the John Williams music. And it was crazy. It was just like, oh my God, Star Wars! Like the hype was just out of control. Like I just remember how big the hype was then, and it was kind of like going into the Phantom Menace to that level.
Yeah. And I have had disagreements with a lot of people about this. Thankfully, no one on our podcast, but I had a major disagreement with someone that does another podcast about the hype levels compared between the Phantom Menace and the Force Awakens. They were trying to tell me that the Force Awakens was bigger than the Phantom Menace. I was like,
No,
it was not.
I mean, now it was incredible. You had 10 years, right, of Star Wars absence, other than the animated series. But from Return of the Jedi to the Phantom Menace was a whole that. Once the special editions came out in '97 and the new movies were announced right after that, or at that point,
right?
Those 2 years. Talk about speculation. Talk about the Phantom Menace release itself was just. I don't know. I don't know if it was. I wouldn't say it was bigger. I would say it was comparable, but I would say the Phantom Menace had bigger.
Well, the hype levels.
Yeah.
I think because you saw the double-bladed lightsaber, you saw the Jedis in action for the first time in their prime. So we were going to get that fight where we're going to get the space battle. We're going to get young Anakin. Stuff that we all dreamt about.
Right.
The Force Awakens, not so much. We knew we were going to get the big three, but we didn't know exactly what
Plus,
Ray and Finn and Poe were going to give us.
Right. We were already cultured as an audience
Yeah.
we still had Star Wars, right? We still had the Clone Wars, and we still had other Star Wars properties that were kind of filling in the gap a bit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a complete absence. But with Return of the Jedi, we had the 2 Ewok movies, and then really, I mean, yeah, you had publishing and licensing, but as far as like the live action and the fact that it was going back to do the story before the classic trilogy, that was sacred territory. And you already had the built-in speculation from A New Hope and Empire and Jedi, because we had heard about the Clone Wars, but we hadn't seen it. We speculated about the origins of Darth Vader and Boba Fett, but we didn't know. So going into the Phantom Menace, it was completely different hype level. I want to say it was comparable, but definitely the Phantom Menace was bigger.
Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday, man.
There was nothing like that. There was just no. Force Awakens was big. Don't get me wrong. There was some really big hype for that movie, but the Phantom Menace was that kind of hype is historical, I think.
I remember being a junior in high school, not paying attention to anything those teachers were telling me that day. It was just like a boo, like I didn't hear anything. My buddies were talking to me. I mean, unless they're talking about Star Wars, I didn't want to hear it, because that was the day I'd been waiting for my whole life.
Yeah, it was.
And once it was there, it shocked me to no end, walking into that theater in my small little town and seeing people that I knew that never spoke a sentence of Star Wars in their lives, and they looked as happy as me. And I was just like, yeah, Star Wars is the biggest thing on this planet.
Right.
And you see grandma, grandpa, all the way to little kids excited. And it's like, you can't beat Star Wars. Star Wars is like the greatest thing that can ever be shown in a cinema. It connects us all ages. I mean, it's about humanity, and it's entertaining and people love it.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. It was the biggest thing in my life I wasn't even 4 years old. I was barely 4 when I saw it. It was a few months before my birthday, but being that young and still remembering it, and how Star Wars shaped my life and how it steered me on this path for my career, but also for friendships, like lifelong friendships because of Star Wars. So like my love for it, my passion for it, and to me it's always been one of the most important things in my life. And so to get your first new Star Wars movie after 20 years of waiting for more live action Star Wars like that was an incredible 1999 was an incredible year for sure,
for cinema too. I mean, you got The Matrix.
Oh yeah,
you got so many movies. The sequel to Austin Powers that made so much money. They did a Star Wars parody trailer for the movie.
That's
the big
funny.
voice guy was like, if you see one movie this summer, watch Star Wars. But if you see 2 movies, watch Austin Powers.
I remember that.
That's how big that film was. And then Fight Club too.
Oh yeah, that's
Office Space. So many different movies, and
99 was a great
year. The Sixth Sense in August. I mean, just to cap off the summer, just incredible. All right, Joe. I think that's pretty much it. There's a couple more comments here. Darth Beard says on YouTube, and back to the trailers. Those trailers for TFA were huge. We had waited so long for Han Solo to come on screen and say we're home. Yeah. That was extreme hype. Yeah, that was to the limit there.
Yeah.
And Zach says, was it Star Wars really, or was it Natalie Portman? Well, I mean, in the
kind of young.
In the prequels, I think she was like 15.
I mean, by the time you get to Revenge of the Sith,
But I think maybe she was old. No, she played
younger in Phantom Menace.
Right.
She was supposed to be 14, but I think
because I know she went to Harvard, and I think during her schooling there, I think she was on a Star Wars project. I want to say, I don't
yeah,
know.
but I think Phantom Menace, she was still pretty young. She was playing. I think she was 15 or 16 when they filmed it, and she was playing 14. But by the time of Attack of the Clones,
Yeah,
she probably could have been in college, but I think so. And then definitely by Revenge of the Sith. Because Hayden was like 18 in Attack of the Clones.
yeah, it's pretty much the same age as Luke. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Natalie Portman right now is 40. Oh, she's my age. She's born the same year as me. She's 2 months older than me.
Okay.
So yeah, she must have been like 16.
And I mean, and Natalie is pregnant in Revenge of the Sith. So it wasn't like we were like all like going, God. But I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, she did play younger and she was older. Yeah.
Right.
All right, Joe. I think that is it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Doing the podcast with me. You were pretty much the co-host. So.
Anytime I can talk.
Yeah,
Star
for
Wars
sure,
all
man.
day.
I'd love to have you on more and talk about your projects and your art. Your art's fantastic. I mean,
thank you.
You know that I think that obviously. I mean, it's on my walls.
So you didn't do that just to impress me for this episode.
Yeah, usually those walls are just red, and I had to like schlep them up there.
Okay,
but no, your stuff is great.
Awesome.
I mean,
thank you.
When I saw those prints, I was like, I'm not sure if it gets better than that. So
yeah, they're two of my favorite ones, honestly. I mean, I've got other stuff coming out. Hopefully, I mean, everything I do, I try to push, to go farther and do something, more exciting or different. And so we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping I can top those here shortly. So
yeah, I do want to get that one signed by Ivana Sakno at SpaceCon. I have to take it out of the
she'll
frame.
be there. That's right.
Yeah.
I love her. I love Ivana. She's so cool.
Yeah, I've never met her. This will be the first con I think we're at the same time. So.
Yeah, I've had friends that have met her and have gotten that artwork signed and have told me about her. So that'll be cool if she signs that art there.
Yeah. And Zach says, awesome hearing about your Star Wars story on here.
Oh, thank you.
Darth Beard says, do a mall one. You have a mall one, right?
I mean, I've done some mall artwork. I've done some older mall artwork, more in a comic book style.
Okay.
But he's got what's this Darth Shadow Hunter, Shadow Lord?
Shadow Lord, yeah.
Shadow Lord coming out. So you never know. I mean,
with Talon.
Yeah, Darth Talon too, a young Padawan version of Talon. So I would love to do some more Darth Maul art, and I get asked for Maul stuff all the time too. So everything I do is project based. I do very little fan art. So if I can get a Darth Maul piece approved by Lucasfilm or through a licensor, for sure, yeah. And with Shadow Lord coming out, that could happen actually.
All right, yeah. So. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this edition of Star Wars Stuff Podcast. Check us out on Instagram at Star Wars Stuff Pod, Twitter at Stuff Pod. We're on Blue Sky. Just search us up. We're on Threads at Star Wars Stuff Podcast. Also, if you have the time, the money, support us on Patreon, Star Wars Stuff Podcast 2187. TikTok, we are also there. Just search us up. Also, we have a Facebook group, a Facebook page. And definitely check out Joe's website, joecorroney.com. Super talented, as you've experienced here. Great podcaster. So he'll be on in the future, maybe even as soon as tomorrow. Who knows? If this trailer drops, I mean, we're all going to be talking about it. So I might not be here, but I think James, Craig 5, and possibly Colin will be on the podcast talking about it because it's probably going to be an epic thing. So yeah, check all that out. Joe, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Any final thoughts? Any final words?
No, I'm just excited to hopefully check out this trailer if it drops tomorrow, and Yeah, thanks for having me on. Anytime, man. Let's talk Star Wars again.
Thank you. We sure will. And may the Force be with you.
Thank you.
Always. This is the way. We have spoken.
You too.
We obviously have friends everywhere.
We have friends everywhere. We do.
Till next time.